Welcome to the start of the third week of my campaign for the 17th Congressional District. Today I'm here with Tom Goyens. He's the head of the TRPA, and I thought I'd talk about how we can do good things without government involvement. Tom, tell me about that property you bought north of Navasota there.
Well, there was a little camp on the Brazos River at a pretty famous spot called Hidalgo Falls, and the old man that ran the camp died. And the family was going to close it down. It wasn't going to be a campground anymore. But a guy named Steve Daniel and a group of kayakers from College Station loved the place, and the family loved them. They said, "You guys have been responsible and you've taken care of the place. We don't mind somehow working out a deal so y'all can keep using it." So Steve Daniel started getting investors together, and I heard about it. I said, "Look, let's use the Texas Rivers Protection Association as a means of collecting money, and we can farm it out, turn it into a 501c3 nonprofit. People's donations are then tax deductible, and we can raise the money, write the check for the property, and the property will actually be owned by a 501c3. Altogether, I think we've raised about $100,000 now, which has been enough to buy the property, improve the roads, put in restrooms, picnic tables. So it is now an operating campground with restrooms, and we can also provide a place for the local fire departments to train and do swiftwater rescue classes. All because some individuals took it upon themselves to save a piece of property, to keep it from being developed, and to keep it open to the public.
I appreciate that, Tom. How long have you been the president of the TRPA?
I have been the president for life. I think we formed in 1989, and they said, "Look, you just be the president for a year or so, and we'll do all the work. Everybody will take care of things for you." And here it is, 2017. I'm still the president. Nobody else wants the job, and I think I'm going to be the president until I die at this rate. If somebody comes up interested, they can have it. You know.
How many hours a week or a month or a year does being president take?
Well, you know, some weeks it takes very little. I actually keep the membership list using my address book, so I've got the list of members. It's available to me when I'm using my phone, Paula's iPad, or my MacBook. So we keep the membership list ourselves. We can very easily generate thank you letters because we've got the membership list. We can do a mail merge. So it's really not that involved, except maybe when it's time to generate a newsletter or have a big fundraiser or something like that. And then you can easily put 20, 30 hours a week in. So it varies from 0 hours a week up to maybe 30 or 40 if we're really cooking, you know.
How much money has the government given the TRPA over the lifetime of it?
I can't think of a dollar.
Can't think of a dollar.
Nothing from the feds or the state. I can't think of anything.
How much good for the community has the TRPA done? What have they done to improve the community?
Well, you know, if you count stopping bad water projects or slowing down people that want to irrigate golf courses from the Guadalupe River, for instance, that's some good that we'll never know. You know, what's the value of that? Well, you know, we might have saved some water for drinking that would have otherwise gone to a golf course. But we have done things like we helped the city of Martindale buy an extra acre of parkland. They've got a little 2-acre park right on the banks of the river. They had bought 1 acre. The other acre was available, but they needed about $30,000 to make that happen. they have some money, as I recall. So we raised like $27,000 for them, just kayakers, canoers, people putting in money to help this town have a larger park. And now it's kind of neat. I go down there occasionally and eat breakfast at the park, buy some breakfast tacos, and watch the kids play. Because now they have playground equipment right on the banks of the river, and the community loves it. So we've had a long history of helping people save their parks or buy new parkland. But we've also fought some pretty bad water right projects, and also improved some sewage treatment facilities to keep our rivers clean in the first place.
How many times has the TRPA had to go against government? The government was doing something and the TRPA wanted to get them to stop.
I would just take a guess and maybe say a dozen times that we fought bad water plans. At least we've been able to slow them down. Like when the city of Kerrville made plans to pull water out of the Guadalupe River, chlorinate it, and then inject it into the Trinity Aquifer. We fought that. One of the problems is you put chlorine into your karst aquifer and it forms carcinogenics. This was known, but our government allowed it. So sometimes we need a watchdog to kind of at least try to slow things down. We were able to have some pretty good safeguards so that they couldn't pull out this water when the river's low, when it's really in a low flow condition. But the idea of using aquifer storage and recovery, it would be okay if we had laws in Texas that really protected groundwater, but when you've got the right to capture and you're taking public water out of a river and injecting it into an aquifer, that's a problem, because then it's private. Anybody who has land can pump that water out. So we were able to get some safeguards, and I think Texas is probably due for more. I mean, I think at some point we're going to have to regulate groundwater more, because it's just something that migrates or it moves under your property just like it does in the rivers. So there's a lot to be done, but it just takes, every now and then it takes a group that's willing to ask for a public hearing or a contested case hearing, and that's one of the things we do.
You kind of sound like a bleeding heart liberal. Do you belong to a political party?
I grew up a Democrat. I was a big fan of John F. Kennedy. The more we know about John F. Kennedy, I kind of wonder if I would have been a fan if I had known. But at any rate, I kind of grew up in a Catholic, Democratic family. But, once you become pro-life, and that happened later in years, it became very difficult to support the Democratic Party. I mean, there are some things that they do on an environmental basis that I like. So if I could pick and choose, I would probably choose somebody in the Bull Moose Party. I think I would be a big fan of Teddy Roosevelt, somebody that believed in conservative Christian values, and yet was willing to set aside acres of land to be protected forever, and his national parks and all that. So I think that's what we need, probably another Bull Moose Party.
Bull Moose Party. The list of things we wish for. After the '98 flood, the Guadalupe River got bad. It had a bunch of houses in it. And the San Marcos River, there was also some destruction. What happened when the federal government came to you and wanted to help?
Well, I was invited to a kind of a powwow in San Marcos. I know there were people from Hays County and Caldwell County. I think Guadalupe County was there. And we were aware that the people in Comal County and on the Guadalupe were spending millions of federal dollars to clean up the Guadalupe. But there's a big difference. The Canyon Lake, which was built to save the people on River Road, or to save the Guadalupe River, provide flood protection and all this, well, people built right below the dam. I mean, they built lots of houses, lots of businesses. And so when the flood occurred, and it flooded that section just from the rainfall below Canyon Dam, there were houses that were completely destroyed, knocked off their foundation, and there's lots of plate glass and building materials in the river. So they did have a situation where they needed a lot of money, and the feds provide some sort of matching grants to counties for cleanups like that. In our case, we didn't have a flood control dam upstream. There's nothing on the Blanco River, and so people kind of know better. We don't build right down on the banks of the river. We can have a flood, and you get water in your houses, but it probably didn't blow a lot of houses apart, or or send whole houses down the river like the floods since then in Wimberley have done some real damage. But here we had there was a RV that washed into the river and got hung in a tree. So that was a mess. We needed to get this frame of this RV out of a tree. And there was a big oil storage tank that had washed into the river in Luling, at the Luling City Park. And the experts asked me, as the river guy, well, why do we need to spend money? Why do we need to clean up? And I told them about the RV chassis and the storage tank. And they were appalled because they wanted to spend some money. We needed some federal dollars.
Like how much money were they wanting to spend?
We're in the multi-million-dollar cleanup. I'm thinking they were hoping for $10 million or something like that.
As a starting point.
And yeah, and of course that would be matched by the counties. Well, Guadalupe County, or Comal County, for sure has very little money. So they were having trouble justifying matching some federal grant. Hayes County did participate in the end. They got quite a bit of money, and they cleaned up log jams. There were log jams. There were some damaged trees, but in their zeal to clean up the banks of the river, they also pulled up a lot of live trees that I would have left. Anything that survived the flood, you give it a chance. So I found, in the end, I thought the whole project was more harmful than good, but it did allow some folks to spend a lot of money. So I guess it was a success for them. But in our case, we were able to persuade the landowner to take care of the RV that was stuck in the tree, and we were able to get, I think the city of Luling hired the wrecker to pull the storage tank out. So we pretty much took care of our cleanup free.
That's real fiscal conservatism. Appreciate that, Tom. You've done a lot of good for America, and especially our little part of the world down here over the years. Churchmanfortexas.com. It's time for a change.